Hey y'all, it's Arwen of Tarot by Arwen, and I'm here to talk about a deck that's fairly new on the market. It's from US Games, and it's done by a Korean team, Rome Choi and Kwon Shina. Kwon Shina is the illustrator, Rome Choi is the author of this deck. It's called The Dreaming Way. Let me show you the deck box. And this is the box, and the whole deck is very charming. I've really been a lot more taken with it than I kind of expected, because some of the imagery that I first saw was a little unusual. Take a look at the back of the box. This is the Fool. You know, traditionally this has a lot of what the Fool has, but you'll notice something here and then here again. That figures quite a bit in this deck. The author said that he dreamt this deck. Now, he does have quite a bit of experience with tarot. He is a professional reader there where he lives. And I wanted to talk a little bit about some of my favorite cards. When I look at a deck, I generally want to see two cards right off the bat. I want to see the Star, and I want to see Death. Now, these were very interesting because the Star here, it was okay. I mean, I wasn't, wow. It was Death that blew me away, but we'll start with the Star. So, you see the Star. Now, they have a real whimsical look to them. They're a very young deck, I think. I think that people who are very young at heart and very playful will enjoy this deck. There's a lot of symbolism in there that you can come away with, though. If you look at this, it's a very traditional star in a lot of ways. The only thing that's not traditional is where the feet are. We don't have the foot on land and the foot in the water, which also can be temperance, but often the star is seen as in water or somehow connected. So we've got this as their connection. And look at the face. A little androgynous, yeah? I mean, you could be either a boy or a girl star. Really don't know there. But let's take a look at Death. Death is one of those cards that you really want to see what's it going to look like. Is it going to really hit you? And for me, as a professional reader, I want to know if it's going to hit my clients. I mean, I don't want something that's going to go and scare the crap out of them, right? This one is really wonderful. You see the Grim Reaper, but she's not quite so grim, is she? Sorry about that reflection, y'all. I'll try to tilt the card. Look at that. A little steampunky with that kind of aprony corset on her. The background's very interesting. The figures here are way more important than the backgrounds in these cards, where certain decks incorporate the background into the whole card. This one really doesn't that much. So this is our Death card, and she's definitely on her way. She's definitely gone to get somebody. So I like that energy about it. The little white book is indeed little. It's not very thick at all. It does have quite a bit of information, though. So, in fact, here, we'll just let you read a little bit for you. Are you done reading? Okay. Let's take a look at some other cards. The court cards are really nice. I've pulled out a couple of them for you here. But let's look at another major, okay, before we move on to the minor arcana. This one has caused a lot of interesting reaction in the readers I know. Some of them are like, I don't know if I like that. She's too young. And you have to kind of wrap your mind around the idea that this high priestess she's a young girl. I mean, look at her. She looks like a schoolgirl with these knee socks and sitting in the moon. I read a discussion where the author, Rome Choi, I don't know if it's Rome or Rami, but I'll say Rome because, hey, I can say what I want because I don't know. But he said that the knee socks here represent sexuality, and they represent the virgin sexuality of the high priestess. And she does have in her hand the Torah, which is very traditional. She's sitting way up. She's unreachable unless you can get to the moon. The hat on her head, that's an interesting piece. For me, it looks like a Greek Orthodox priest hat. I don't really know what the background of the hat is, but we definitely have a woman as high priestess here. There's no androgyny going on whatsoever, right? But I really like her. I like her youth. I like the idea that we don't understand Age doesn't have to be wisdom. Youth doesn't have to be foolishness. Lots of differences there, and that's a very good thing. Bad thing about this deck, non-reversible back. Now, you would think it's reversible, but pay attention. Look at this right here. The High Priestess is reversed in my hand right now. So that's the top. There's no corresponding here. So you'll always know if these cards are reversed or not, if that's important to you. Some people it's not important to. Let's move on and look at a few more cards. I have the King of Wands, and the King of Wands here, I really like his look. He just looks kind of stern, he needs to take action. Something has to happen for this young man. You'll notice a lot of playing with design in here, lots of polka dots and squares. That's part of what makes me think this is a very fresh, younger deck. It's got some real interesting approaches. The King of Wands has a lot of green in him, which is good for me. That jives with what I want my wands to have. And he's ready to move. You see his legs, the position they're in. He's ready to get going. Now let's look at our Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is traditionally a widow. She's traditionally a sharp-tongued woman, a thinking woman more than an acting woman would be a good way to put her. And we have a Snow Queen. Very little color in this. She's white, white boots, white clothing, white sword, white crown, white background. And then she's got that chair. And the chair has some promise of spring with those flowers in it. And now I equate swords, the air cards, with spring. So again, this works for me, and I love that she's looking off this way. She's reflecting on something else. She's paying attention to something else. She's not looking at the person reading the card, whereas the King of Wands was straight on with you. Now let's look at one of the knights. I didn't pull any of the pages out, but we can go back and find a page if we need to. Here's the Page of Cups. He's wonderful. Look at him. He's looking one way. The horse is looking another way. He's got all these polka dots on. Even his boots are polka dot. Oops. There we go. He's really not focused on what he's doing or where he's going, is he? Real typical Page of Knight of Cups, kind of that dreamy, emotional person who lets their heart lead, and that's kind of the horse here. The horse is going where it wants, and he's not in control. So I kind of like that image. Another favorite card of mine in the minor arcana is the Nine of Coins or the Nine of Pentacles. It's usually a woman in a garden. She's usually got a bird on her arm or some kind of animal to portray her wealth. Now here we don't have any animals, but we definitely have a wealthy woman. Look at the clothing she's wearing. Right? Isn't that a perfect Nine of Pentacles? I mean, she's not standing in her garden. She's wearing her garden. She's got the matching here, basket with coins in it. She is not lacking in coins, this gal. She's got what she needs. And that's a really good interpretation for me of the Nine of Coins. I'm looking at cups now. So let me just flash through here and see what we can find. One thing I don't like about this deck, and I find a drawback, is the aces. Now the aces are generally the seed energy of the card, right, of the court suit. Wow, I can't talk today, and I'm still going to record this and let y'all see me in all my silly glory. But I guess in a way these are good because they're seed energy and they don't show anything but the device. They only show the suit. That's it. Now this is very Rider-Waite to me. Generally the Rider-Waite has a hand, holding out and giving you the ace, but in this case they're not. Some of the cards are interesting. Some of them don't quite hit. Nine of Cups for me is a happy card. It's a card of make a wish, get what you want. But here we see somebody who doesn't seem like they've settled on their wish. They haven't settled on what they want. So this is a rather unsettled Knight of Cups, if you will, or Nine of Cups. But other cups are really, really wonderful. The Eight of Cups, I just love. She's so funny. She's striding away. She's determined to go, man. She is leaving that baggage behind. She's on her way. So, and we saw the Fool. I'm just kind of flipping through. And here's another ace. Again, very plain, very beginning, very... There's so much potential here in the card. Maybe that's what the artist and author are trying to portray, and I think I can understand that. The sun is fabulous. It's got the baby, it's got the sunflowers, but it's such a different interpretation of the sun. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that fun? Baby going after the lollipop. Maybe the lollipop is the sun in this case. The Magician, kind of androgynous, not sure boy or girl. Guess it could be either one. But look at this, hands in the pocket. And all the tools are floating. So the Magician is in control here. The Magician has all those tools going. Let's see if we can't find one of the pages. I really like the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles shows a young student studying a book. Again with the knee-highs. This apparently is a thing in Korea, according to the author. But she's going places. You see back in the background there, the town, or the maybe it's a university, but she's going places, and that's why she's got that book in front of her. Let's just flip through a little bit and see what else we can find. Here's a great page. I've heard quite a bit of chit chat about this page because it's so whimsical. Now we have floating fish, but look at her hat. I know, right? What's she thinking? But if you think about it, the water coming out of the pitcher on her head is going to be going into that cup. It's feeding those fish. It's feeding her dreams, her hopes. So again, we've got some interesting interpretations, and ones that I can really work with in terms of reading for people. I've used this deck in my tarot scopes, and it really worked for me. I had a good reading with it. I enjoyed it. Different things about it. The moon's really unusual. The moon, you know, you'd think going from the High Priestess that we'd have a similar theme. Not at all. Very, very different moon. You've got the lobster or the crustacean that, symbolizing the deep, dark places of our emotion, and the moon in the background, but then this figure just sitting there in front of the moon. What's that about? That's a card I'm not real sure about. That's a card I have to work with. And sometimes when I get a new deck, if I'm going to work with it, and I think I may with this one, I have to think about what the deck says to me and how the differences work. Let's see. The Five of Cups is nice. The Five of Cups, traditionally, you see spilled milk and somebody grieving over it, but here you see two people. You see somebody walking away, somebody holding on. The person walking away is grieving about what's lost. They're not looking at the person there with two cups for them. This is a potential solution to a Five of Cups situation that this person is not paying attention to. Oh, the Devil's interesting. The Devil is, again, androgynous, but I'd kind of go for female devil. What I really think is a lot of fun is the straitjacket. Right? So the devil's bound to what the devil is doing. And you see these figures. The shadows here, I think, are important too. There's not a lot of definition between the shadows. There's not a lot of separation. But there's the devil. So, really interesting devil there. I like it when I shake the card at you. It's really easy to see. But I just want you to kind of get a feel for these cards. They're called The Dreaming Way. They're from US Games. And I hope that you'll check this deck out. I think that they've got a lot going for them. Rider weight and feel, definitely. But they have enough difference about them. One thing, and I'm just going to show you one thing before we go. The title card that they include, I love her. Is she not wonderful? With the little fool stuck on her top of her hat? I know. So, I'm Arwen Lynch of Tarot by Arwen. I am a professional reader in Austin, Texas. I read Skype, I read email and phone, and in person. I'd love to read for you. Come see me, www.tarotbyarwen.com.